Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be testing out the brand new E.L.F. Retro Paradise palette. Unfortunately, I dropped the palette right when I was about to film the intro, so I don't want to show you guys because I am completely embarrassed. But it's a really pretty palette. I guess I will show you, what I can. Completely demolished the blue shade, but it's a really pretty summer palette that was only $14 and it's exclusively at Target. So let's go ahead and jump into the review. Okay, so I went ahead and did my brows off camera. I used my Morphe brow cream. I remember I had told you guys in my Colourpop video that I no longer was going to support Morphe because they continue to sell Jeffree Star products, and you guys know how I feel about Jeffree Star. But since I have posted that video, they have now removed Jeffree Star's products. Actually, I don't know if they removed them, but I know they no longer are going to continue to sell his products. I still am very hesitant to purchase Morphe product just because I just feel like, it's not something that he has done in the past. It's been a past and present thing. But regardless, the brow cream is really good. I cannot lie about it. It's just as good as the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow cream, and it is less than half the price. This pot is only $8 and it's lasted me forever. So I used that on my brows today, and now we're gonna go ahead and get into the E.L.F. palette. So I'm gonna prime my eyes real quick with the LA Girl Pro Concealer. This is their lightest shade and it's called Fairest, just because this palette has some brighter colors in there, and I know from personal experience that palettes that usually have a lot of color don't really show up well on deeper skin tones. So I bought this just so that the colors would really pop. Okay, so my eyelids are primed. Again, I used the LA Girl Pro Concealer. This again is in the shade Fairest, and I will have all the products that I used today linked down below as usual. I don't know what I really want to do with this palette because it really does have some great colors. I think I want to kind of in some way incorporate either this green or purple. But just because I don't know how this palette will work, I'm gonna go for something a little bit more bronzy and warm, considering we are doing a bronzier look today. I'm gonna take my Morphe M535 and I am going to dip into the shade, Canvas, which is this light nude shade here. I'm gonna use this as a transition shade. Right off the back, I noticed that this product has a lot of kickback. If you look into the pan right there, you can see it all kind of just swirling in there. But if you watched my review on the Anastasia Amrezy palette, kickback really is not, a big deal to me. I don't really see it as a deal breaker as most people do, but we are just going to use this to just add a transition shade into our crease, and it's blending out really nicely. So far I don't see that it's patchy or anything like that, so it's going pretty good so far. So I've added the canvas shade and it looks pretty nice. It took away some of the white that came with the LA Girl Pro Concealer. I'm next gonna go in with this same brush into this shade next to it. It's called Sandy Bum, and I love all the names to the shades on this palette just because it is a summer palette. And I'm gonna use this same brush and just go a little bit lower. And I don't know if you guys can tell on my phone, but if you look right there, these shadows are actually very pigmented and they blend out really nicely together. So I am really liking so far how the shadows are looking. And I'm actually very glad that I used the lighter concealer because I can definitely tell that if I had not, that these shades would not have shown up on my eyelid. so I have blended both of those shades together. I am really liking them. I think they have blended out very nicely so far, but we haven't gotten to those colors yet, so I'm not gonna get too excited. If you look in the palette, Sandy Bum especially, you can see how the fallout has kind of transferred to the white. But again, not a deal breaker for me, but just if you're somebody where fallout is a deal breaker for a palette, this probably wouldn't be for you. But for 14 bucks, I mean, I think it's doing its job. Okay, so I'm gonna take my Morphe M433. I'm gonna go on with this shade here. This is the shade Coconut. They also have another dark brown called Cacao, but Cacao is just a little bit more cool tone, and since we're going for a warmer look, I want to use a warmer shade. So I'm going to take that on my M433 and literally start pressing it here. I'm going to start on that outer edge really low and then take it and blend it into the crease. And this is a really pretty brown shade. It is showing up exactly how it should, and again, blending into those other colors very, very nicely. Okay, so I blended the shade Coconut out, and I do wish that the palette included one more brown. The Coconut shade is actually very cool tone as well, so we're definitely going to go in with a lighter color on the lid, but it does need one more shade, because if you look at the palette, this shade here, the Coconut, is actually the only super deep brown shade, and it's actually kind of cool tone as well. This one, as you can tell, is very, very cool tone, so I did not want to use this one. But other than that, you know, it's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to go in next. I'm going to use my MAC 242 brush, and I am just going to add a little bit of the LA Girl onto my lid, just so that the lid shade has something to potentially stick onto. Okay, so I've put Fuego on one eye, and I'm not really liking it. It blends out to almost nothing, kind of like a white shade, and I don't really want this eye look to be like ashy, so I'm actually gonna switch it and go in with one of these darker shades. I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. This shade is called Spiced. It's like a really pretty like fuchsia color, which is far more summery, so I'm gonna use that instead, and then I'm gonna pat that on top. Yeah, see, that looks so much better, so much better. So I'm just gonna use the same 242 brush and pat this all over both lids. Okay, so I have Spiced on the lids, and it's looking very pretty. It's a very soft look. I think I actually am going to go into that shade Cacao, just to kind of see if it will deepen up my outer corners, because it's looking a little one-dimensional. So I'm just going to dip into Cacao and dust off the excess, and then just tap it right on the outer corner, which it seems to be working. Okay, so I have the top of the lid all complete. I will say again, I have had to dust this palette off throughout the whole time. So it is a lot of kickback in the palette, but I do like all of the shades I use minus the Fuego. I might have to try to use that in like a different type of look. I just feel like in the pan it looks like it's this really pretty peachy nudie color, but on the lid it transfers very ashy. And I also think that as a whole they blend out nicely, but the browns just need a teeny bit more pigment, especially for somebody with my skin tone. So because this look is a little bit softer, I'm gonna go in with the Ardell 3D Faux Mink lashes. This is in the style 854, and I'm gonna apply these really quickly off camera, and then we'll get into the rest of the look. So my lashes are on, and we're gonna go ahead and move on to the face. For primer today, I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Master Prime by Face Studio. This is their Blur and Pore Minimize Primer. So this one is number 400. I love, 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 love this primer. It kind of has the same effect as the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. And I just think that it just smooths my pores out, makes everything look good. And because we're going for more of a glowy look, I am going to need something that's going to get rid of these pores and make them look nice and small. For foundation today, I'm going to be using one of my new favorites. This is the Loreal Infallible 24-hour fresh wear foundation. The reason why I love this foundation is because it is formulated with SPF 25, meaning it is a perfect summer foundation. It is medium to full coverage, but it's very buildable, and I just really feel like less is more with this foundation, and it just gives you the illusion of full coverage without having to worry about the cakiness or the heavy feeling of a foundation. And of course, it's drugstore, so inexpensive. And I'm only gonna do 2 pumps because you really don't need that much, like I said, and due to the SPF, it's a lot more, I would say, liquidy. So I'm just gonna use my Real Technique sponge and just dab some on here, and then we're just going to press it into the skin. And as you can see, it's a very warm foundation, which for me is okay because I like my concealers to highlight and brighten. So it's okay that it's a little warm. That is okay. So for concealer today, we're gonna go in with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Concealer. This is the Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer, and it is in the shade Medium Dark, which is 145W. I did review the Colourpop Pretty Fresh foundation, and I told you guys the crazy experience I had with the foundation. So it didn't go so well, but the concealer on the other hand is amazing. I love this shade, especially because I am trying to use it as a brightening concealer. So we're just gonna put it on all of those places where the sun would hit. We're gonna go back in with the Real Techniques Beauty Sponge, and we are just going to blend it out. Okay, so we have the concealer all blended out and it's looking pretty good. I am now gonna go in with some cream contour today. I know, I'm feeling a little cray-cray. So I'm gonna go in with the Black Radiance True Complexion Cream Contour Palette in Medium Dark. As you can see, it is a brand spanking new. The packaging is still completely intact because I wanted to test it out on today's video. So I'm going to use this really old MAC brush, and we're going to dip into the contour shade, and she is very thick, like with 4C's. She is so thick, but that's good because that means she is going to stay in place, and I love how I'm referring to a contour shade as she. So we just have some contour on the brush, and we are just going to apply her here just as if we were applying a cream contour. We are using a cream contour, but we're just gonna apply it here as if we were using a powder contour and just creating a line to blend out. And as you can see the cheek starting to sculpt. So we're gonna come on the other side and do the same thing and just go right onto the cheek line. I said the cheek line, I literally mean the freaking cheekbone. And now we're gonna just go in with a teeny bit more and just add some to the perimeter of the forehead and just add that all the way around. So we're gonna take, again, the same Real Technique sponge, and you wanna blend your cream contour in an upward motion. You don't wanna blend down. You wanna blend it upwards, which is what we're doing, because you want it to follow that natural cheek line. And as you can see, it has a little sculpt under there, it has a little shadow, which is exactly what we want. So we're just gonna blend it all around the perimeter of the forehead. We're also gonna blend the other side as well. First impressions though, this product does dry down pretty quickly, so I would not waste time, you know, blending it out because it is drying down pretty fast. Now that we have blended out the contour, we are gonna just set our face. I'm gonna go in with my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder and Makeup Revolution setting powder mixture. I love this powder. It looks amazing and it's not gonna look cakey, and we're not gonna bake. We're just going to set everything. And I'm just gonna take a teeny bit, dab off that excess, and go right under where the concealer is so that we do not start to crease. I am going to now use my Black Radiance press powder. I think this is in the shade Ebony, and I'm going to use my Wet n Wild contour brush, and we're just gonna set that cream contour that we just put on our face. Okay, so now I'm gonna teach you guys the trick to get that put summer skin and make sure that your foundation and everything just stays in place. So I'm actually going to set the face with the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. This is just gonna lock in everything that we just put on our face so that it doesn't move, it doesn't budge, it doesn't smudge. And because this is a continuous mist, you can just spray it all over, get it nice and coated. And also a trick that I learned is that you can take your beauty sponge and just lightly press the powder onto the skin so that it stays put. So now I'm gonna go in with blush and highlight. For blush today, I think I'm actually going to go in with the Paradise palette, and I'm going to use that same shade Spiced as a blush on our cheeks. And I am going to use this Morphe M536. We're just going to dab inside of the eyeshadow. Again, she picks up a lot, so we're just going to dab off all that excess. And then we're just gonna take this and just start pressing it on the skin. And you see how it just gives it a nice peachy looking glow. And we're just gonna add that on the cheeks. And you wanna bring it upwards to bring your face up, and so it doesn't look like an old lady face. And we're just gonna add that and come to the other side here and just press it into the skin and bring it upward. Now we're gonna go in with highlight. I'm going to use the Maybelline Master Chrome highlight. This is in the shade Molten Gold, which I love using this shade for summer looks because it is just the perfect golden shade, and it just pops on deeper skin tones so well, and you only need a little bit. So I am going to take it, this is a Morphe M510, and just add it right on the cheeks and just give the skin a nice finish. As you can see, just go upward and it just gives it a nice glow. So really quickly, I'm going to smoke out the lower lash line, and I'm also going to pick an inner corner color, and then we will do the lips and we'll complete this look. Okay, so I was actually in the middle of blending out my lower eyeshadow when I was trying to go in with this shade called, I think it's Paraiso, P-A-R-A-I-S-O. It is this glittery, shimmery shade here, and it's gold with like some reflux of red, but I actually think it's more of a packed glitter than an actual shimmer shade because it gives off a kind of gritty texture. So I wanted to just show you guys how this works. As you can see, you have to kind of blend it in order to really get the fullness of the shade, which is that right there, which is so pretty. It just brightens the eye up tremendously, and we're gonna do the same over here. Again, I have never used this before. It actually kind of gives off the illusion of Trophy Wife by Fenty Beauty, which is one of her first highlighter shades, and it's a really gold highlighter shade, but it gives off like a greeny reflux. But I'm really not mad at this. I think it looks ultra pretty, and I'm gonna add a little bit to my brow bone up here and also over here. Yes, it's so pretty. I'm done with the eyeshadow and everything. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the lips. We have a nice soft eyeshadow look, so we're gonna keep the lips just as soft. I'm gonna go in with my very sad but still usable NYX Chestnut lip liner. I've gotten some comments on my previous videos on what my lip liner is, but I actually think they stopped selling Chestnut lip liner, but a good dupe for it is the NYX. This is actually their eyeliner. This is in the shade Espresso, and it's just about the same color, but I'm gonna use this until the wheels fall off. So I'm just going to line my lips and not line them crazily, just give them some depth. Okay, so I have my lips nice and lined, and I just added some in the center so it really makes my lips kind of protrude. I'm gonna go in with the NYX Butter Gloss. This is going to be in the shade Gingersnap, and it's a nice kind of like purpley brown, which I think is so pretty and goes amazing with this lip liner. And it just adds a little bit of a sheen to the lips, which I absolutely love. And this is actually turning into a very fall look. It's not very summery, which, I mean, the base is summery, but the eyeshadow look is not that summery. But that's okay. I'm gonna go on top with the NYX Butter Gloss in Tiramisu, and I'm just gonna add it to just brighten it up in the center a little bit, which did that job tremendously. We just wanted to add some peachiness to the lips. So now that we have the face done, I'm gonna go really quickly and do my hair and change, and then we'll be right back to finish off the video. Okay guys, so I am back. I just added the Mielle leave-in conditioner and some hair gel. Just did a little wash and go. As you can see, my curls are looking good and juicy, but I wanted to go ahead and conclude this video. So my overall review of the E.L.F. Retro Paradise 18-piece eyeshadow palette. It is a pretty good eyeshadow palette. Would I go out and purchase it again? Unfortunately, I would not, but it is a really good palette if you are someone who is new into makeup, because it has a really good half of neutrals and then it has your half of color, so you can learn how to start playing with the shades a little bit. I wanted to do something summery, but it turned into something different, but that's fine. I'm still loving the look. The eyeshadows are very blendable. They're actually pretty pigmented. The only thing is, like I said throughout the video, if you are someone who kind of has a problem with kickback, I don't recommend this palette because every single shade does have a teeny bit of kickback. But other than that, the palette is pretty good for $14. I'm not mad at it. The packaging is cute, the shades are good, and this is exclusively at Target, so you will not be able to find this at an Ulta. You will not be able to find it obviously at a Sephora. It is exclusively at Target. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to click that subscribe button at the bottom of this video, along with giving it a big fat thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and also hitting that bell notification icon so that you're notified every time I post a video. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.